Hello, Eddie G's Music World. Uh, haven't been on for a bit, but I figured I would say something about things going on in music today, some things that are current. I'm just going to alert my Twitter feed about this show. And then I'll start getting to the show. Eddie G's Music World. And this is what I figured would be something that would be a little bit of interest since some one person on this list kind of backed out. And I have glasses on now because I've got all kinds of issues with seeing close, seeing far, whatever. If anybody does want to join me, it's fine. Be happy to talk. And this week, the the nominees for the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame for 2022. Now, the first one of them is Eminem. I mean, it's kind of a thin line. Is it rock? Why call it rock? I mean, Eminem is, he's an accomplished guy. He's had a bit of a rock feel to some of his songs. So it's kind of bending it a bit, but why not let the man in? He should be kind of considered. He does a lot of music. A lot of the music is Dr. Dre that does some of the music, and he does the lyrics and the rapping and the writing of the lyrics. And so, I mean, it's not shocking. He's been around since 1996 or seven that I've heard of him. If he's been around before that, I don't really know. But I do know that he has put in a long time and sold millions of records. So why not? That's number one. Number two, Kate Bush. It's another one of these kind of fringy rock, not rock types. She did that duet with Gabriel. Uh, and had a Wuthering Heights was a big deal in the late 70s, early 80s. Kind of had a bit of a splash, kind of artsy. Will she get in? I'm gonna guess first. I don't know how many times she's been up for this or not, but I'm gonna have to say she doesn't get in this time, just because she's never been one of these massively American phenomenon. She's had success, but not bursting onto the scene in a huge way. But I could be wrong. Number three, Beck. He had that big hit, Loser. Then he's kind of like this trendy, cool guy, or I don't like the word cool. I shouldn't say cool. If I had the energy to edit, I probably would edit that word out. One of these trendy guys that puts out like alternative style. He's innovative. He went to a Grammy party with Paul McCartney once, so he hangs with all the right people. Loser was big. Then he had the Devil's Haircut. And then after that, I mean, what was it? It was kind of like a lot of albums that I think I remember them coming out and just kind of like, look, in the year 2000, there was no YouTube, 2002. So, if I heard they had a new album out, I wasn't running to any record stores at the time or going on Napster or whatever the trendy download, illegal download thing there was back then. I just didn't bother with it. So I mean, I followed him for when he was really a mainstream act, and when he wasn't, I just forgot about the guy. Will he get in? Tough man. They like these kind of guys. They're too different for the pop market, so they get cred. So Beck has cred, and I have nothing against him. He's talented, but it's just one of those things. Oh, you didn't become this top 40 bubblegum guy, so we treat you with more respect. So I could see this guy getting in, not because he's got all this huge success, just because he didn't really go along with the standard top 40 style. Number four, okay, A Tribe Called Quest. Now, there's not really a lot I can say about these guys, except that I know that they're the hip hop style. Now, here we go back to the hip hop. Should it be in hip hop? Let's face it, it's not rock and roll. But then again, can you say that because they're more of a black audience that they don't deserve to be put in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. It's standard argument that's been going on since Grandmaster Flash got in with his White Lines and other music in that genre, and he got in. So it opens the door for these kind of bands. Guessing they won't get in, but it's all guesses. Number five, I see the picture and here they are. The Eurythmics, yes, they kind of had a rock feel to them at times. A lot of pop, you know. They had that long-standing hit machine rolling out maybe 7 or 8 hits, and then again, like a lot of things, the Dave Stewart turned out to be more of a producing type. He went on to produce a few people, and Annie Lennox had a pretty good couple of hits on her own. She even once said that she got a phone call. She didn't get a phone call returned to her when she tried to see if her record contract was renewed. They kind of blew her off, and so I mean, she was getting old and not really somebody that made it into the year 2015 to 22. Time passed them by, but they did have their years. Thought of seeing them live once, but never did make that move. And do they get in? I mean, because they're kind of trendy at the time, I would kind of think that they could qualify to get in. So let's go with that. Number six, Duran Duran. Now look, sure they're more of a pop band than a rock band, but they did have so many hits. I did see them live. Very good band, and with all those hits, I mean, could they be getting like the Culture Club treatment, where they're kind of too bubblegummy to be considered rock? Did they fall into that crack, that space in between, hard rock and bubblegummy style? I mean, they were pop. But look, they did become one of the biggest bands around, and they've not only were they big, they once every 5 years they come back and they have a hit, or they have some kind of song that gets a bit of a buzz. So why not assume they'll get in? Although they could go against them because they're a bit too commercial. Number seven, I see this band. Who are they? MC5. Now, this is a funny band because they're big for not being big. This is the whole point of the band. They said bad words in Kick Out the Jams. They said MFer. One of them was married to Patti Smith, Fred Sonic Smith. I like this band a lot, and they're kind of like they're the band that never became huge, but not because they didn't have talent. They did, but they were blown off pretty much by mainstream radio. Hey, listen, Showme in Montreal, where I listened to growing up, they could have spun their records. I don't remember hearing MC5 on Showme, probably because they were like a little too, rough around the edges. They weren't quite punk. They were just hard rock. But will they get in? They've been nominated before without doing any research. I don't remember them. I think they were nominated before. Since they're back up again, I give them a 50-50 shot. I mean, I say they get in because so much has been thought of them being the band that never made it, like maybe throw them into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame because they never made it type of thing. Okay, so let's say they get in just for argument's sake. Dolly Parton has said she doesn't want to be in. Now, is it because she's a country singer mostly, and it's because her songs have basically been more pop? Obviously, the most famous one is "I Will Always Love You" with the Whitney thing. What are they going to do with this girl? She didn't want to be in. So what does that mean? They'll put her in just because she doesn't want to be in? Could this be some kind of like I'm a nice girl act, and I'm so sweet, and I'm this this filthy rich sweet person that doesn't want to spoil the ballot? That's part of her image of being such a nice person, and she could be sweet as hell. I have no clue. Never met her, never talked to her, never heard a bad thing about her. She once reached out to Howard Stern, who took a book she did on tape and spliced it up to make her look foolish, and she asked him please to stop or she might sue. So I don't really know what Dolly Parton's really like, but I do know her music. It's mostly pop and country. Now, this is such a weird gang of voters for this R&R Hall of Fame. They have this strange system of putting people in or not. Will they say, well, now that she doesn't want to be in, she's really gonna we have to put her in because she doesn't want to get in? I mean, this is the kind of stupidity that goes on with these Hall of Fames. It's a pop Hall of Fame, for Christ's sake. Rock and roll. I mean, look at these nominees. Half of them never went near rock and roll. They don't even know what it means. Listen, I'm not Eddie Trunk. I'm Eddie G. No, not many people are listening to me, but I have valid point, lots of knowledge. So maybe listen to me. I mean, I'm observant at least. Dionne Warwick. Wow, another one of these things. What do you do with her? She's got this great voice. She's at Burt Bacharach and writing for her with Hal David. They kind of, both needed each other. They were not as big deal in the early 60s. They weren't established, Bert and Hal. So they needed someone with a nice voice. And she didn't have a career yet, so she needed them. And then she got produced by Manilow, and I got the collaboration with I think Barry Gibb, and she had an amazing career. I guess you'd have to just say slide her in because look, the woman had many comebacks. She started in the early 60s and she had hit into the late 80s with Deja Vu or mid 80s. So for longevity's point, the woman has proven herself. She's stuck around a lot. Uh, Related to Whitney, I don't know if that matters or not, but there's some. I think she was the aunt or cousin or something. Probably the aunt. So I'd say she should have a shot to get in because of all the hits she's had. Next, who do I see? Here, Rage Against the Machine. Now, this is Eddie G's Music World counting down and discussing the top nominees for the 2022 Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, I know that this guy, this godlike creature that everybody worships, what's his name? The lead singer. No, the guru of the band. It's not De La Rocha. He's the singer. Tom Morello. Yeah, he's one of the voters for the nom. He votes on who gets in and out of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. Now, I'm not saying the guy would do vote for himself because he feels privileged that he has a vote. I mean, it's kind of a weird situation when your own band is on the name. They have a rock style. They have this edgy style that, like, they're not one of these top 40 pop bands. They're kind of edgy rock. What do I think about them? But they did break through in a major, major way. I said they got a good chance to get in, so let's say yes, just because they got this cred. Now let's go to number 11. Okay, I'm lasting 12 minutes, and I'm still thinking of things to say without a script or producer or anything. Okay, number 11, Devo. Wow, I love this band. I mean, I think they're very innovative, and I even answered someone who said, "Who's your favorite unknown band that didn't really get huge?" And I said Devo. I think they're very innovative. They have great synth style, um, uh, interesting takes on society and their lyrics. Wish I saw them live. I kind of almost did, but they were kind of so strange. I was 17 when they came, and I was like, these guys sound like they're like demon possessed with their faces and their masks and their freakiness. But I didn't go, and I guess I regret it. I don't know if they'll ever come back. And so I would say I'd like them to get in, but I just think they're one of these kind of like refugee types that just don't want them. That nobody wants to give them any credit, so they won't get in. Here we go, Carly Simon. Now, tons of hits, yes, but obviously far from rock, like almost every other one in this list. I'm going to see her ex-husband, James Taylor, with Jackson Browne at the end of April. So I'm looking forward to that. I wish Carly would be coming with her ex, but I know that's not going to happen. What do I do with this girl? I mean, here she is, a big pop balladeer, popper, Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. She's famous for her stage fright, and she kind of like had that "You're So Vain" thing. Wow, I don't know what to think about this girl. Does she have what it takes to get actually in? I'm gonna have to guess no. She's not getting in this time, but I think she should be. But I mean, just like trying to figure out how these people think. What's the criteria for getting in? You got to have this specific situation where the people respect you for certain reasons. I don't know. Let's say not this time. Now I see number 13. Fela Kutu. Look, I'm not going to say anything about a guy like this. Afrobeat pioneer. Doesn't have mainstream hits. Global recognition. So apparently he's one of these globalist, Gabriel Talking Heads. He's worked with them, Paul Simon, Vampire Weekend. So he's a guy that's famous for being outside of the mainstream for the North American market. But obviously, the way the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame thinks, we've got to recognize this because other people don't around North America. So that's their rule. But I still don't see a guy like this getting in. I mean, I'm not going to go even bother to research him. Not saying he's not great. The guy could be the brilliant. I mean, it's like Yusuna Dur. He was great. I saw him with Gabriel, but I don't even know if he's in or not. But uh, it's just similar type of. Look, he's even linked to Peter Gabriel, Fela Kuti. So, and I'm bringing you up Yusuna Dur, who sang with him. Okay, getting close to the end. Number 14, New York Dolls. It's exactly the same as this MC5 situation. They dressed up like women, great rock, no sales, unless you count the singer David Johansen being feeling hot, hot, hot. He transformed himself into a dance singer, and what was the name he used? God, I can't remember. But the song was feeling hot, hot, hot. He had a one name persona that he used to be to do that dance song. Then he did some Sirius satellite radio announcing on some punk channel or something. David Johansen, I think one of these guys is dead. I can't see this group getting in at this point because again, it was like a low. It was like if the Ramones were successful uh, freaky band, which they were freaky based on their approach and their style of visual style. And New York Dolls dressed up as women, and that was like a very avant-garde style to dress up like a woman and have good rock. Will these guys finally get in? I mean, they're a dark horse, but let me see. I said MC5 would get in, so I can't see two guys that are like really two acts that are kind of like on the fringe. So I'm going to say no, but I kind of like them. I've heard them a couple of times. They've never been played in my music in the media places in my town. Never. I've had to look for them on channels and read about them. So there we go. Now I'm looking at number 15, the perennial Judas Priest, who can't be more rock and roll than anyone else, but they don't, for some reason, get the adulation in the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. There's something about this band they don't like because they keep coming up for nomination. Not keep, but it's been a couple of times, and they don't seem to get in. Now, do I say okay? This is the year they do. Then it's a very tough spot to. I say finally they throw them in just because they've been denied. They haven't been nominated for many years. They've been around for almost 50 years. I think it was 73 that their first record was out with even a different singer, possibly. I mean, we're dealing with 50 years pretty much. So I'm going to go out on a limb and say Judas Priest is going to get in just because it took years for them to be nominated, and then they think this is the second year in a row or third. I don't know where they didn't get in yet. So they'll probably throw them a bone and say get in, like the Judas Priest is going to really carry the way. Now we're getting to the lower down on the list of Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees for 2022. And there I see his smiling face, the brilliant, the talented Lionel Richie. Wow. Nothing much to do with rock and roll. Great pop singer, great pop writer. Now he's a stinking judge on that stupid American Idol show, which I used to like and haven't watched since 2009. I don't know what to make of this guy either. I mean, do they just say the guy's so brilliant that you throw him in? I mean, how do you turn away a guy like that based on only the fact that he doesn't do rock? I mean, that's the only reason why he could not qualify, because everything else he's done is like. So what's next? Is Barry Manilow going to get nominated because he's a ballady type of pop, bubblegum, great singing, somewhat of a songwriter type. I mean, is that the next one to be rolled out of the onto the list? I don't know. I can't figure it out. What do they do with the Lionel Richie? I guess they have to throw him in because of all the hits. The guy's massively successful guy with like mountains of songs. I mean, he co-wrote "We Are the World" with Michael Jackson, for Christ's sake. So I will barrel into the final 17th. I don't know who it is even. I'm looking up the list, but I make up my own comments. Pat Benatar. Wow. I think it's got to happen. I did see her live. She has done the rock and the pop. She has been around 40 years. I don't know. Why do they keep turning this kind of people away? What more does she have to do to get in? There's not much. She's not going to have any hits at 65 or 68 years old. Neil Giraldo, the husband and co-songwriter and guitarist, is not going to go and have a solo career and sell out arenas. It's her and him. That's basically who Pat Benatar is. They have their band around them. They've had all the hits. Heartbreaker. The guitars there. Sure, it's not heavy metal. It's just rock. So I say Pat will get in. I mean, how many years? 40 years slugging out a career, touring. Obviously, she's not going to have any hits. She's not going to become like a big darling of the 18 to 23-year-old crowd when she's closing in on 70. But I say because of all the longevity, she's going to get herself in. She's going to get herself in. Now, here's the irony. I'm done with the show, Eddie G's Music World. But my son convinced me to unplug the webcam for his YouTube channel. He's only 10. And then he replugged it back in. Now, if he did something wrong, then this show will not come off. And as you know, I've had issues with technical plugging in situations. I hope, Jeremy, you did the plugging in part correctly, because I didn't check it. But the webcam seems to be on. The little green light seems to be on. I have a feeling it worked out okay. So let's pray. And if it didn't, my life will go on. So Eddie G's Music World counted down the top 17, all 17 of the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame nominees for 2022. I think I guessed at about 7 or 8 getting in and about 7 or 8 not getting in. So thank you for those who may listen. I always seem to pick up a few views coming down after the live part. So listen when you can. I had a fun time doing it, and every few weeks I'll come back and do something else. I mean, it doesn't hurt me. It's fun. So goodbye.